I'm doing something different today because, last night was AEW Revolution and it fell on a Sunday. By then, I already had done a podcast Saturday and yesterday. I did not wanted to do a prediction show because usually prediction shows really, you're just giving your thoughts and your opinion. Most of the time, no one really cares about the predictions. But last night, we had a good pay-per-view from top to bottom. And I'm not talking about, the pre-show, the 0 hour, because the 0 hour pretty much wasn't all that. They opened up the 0 hour with a tag team with, I think it was the TV champion Commander teaming up with Hologram. They still pushing this guy in Hologram. I don't know why, but this was the opening of the 0 hour against Big Shotty, Lee Johnson, and Blake Christian. I'm happy that they are exposing Blake Christian in the on the pay-per-views. Blake Christian has wrestled in GCW. He has wrestled in Ring of Honor. He has wrestled everywhere. So he pretty much is known to the average pro wrestling fan. And I was happy in a way that he was on the 0 hour, even though he lost in this tag team against Commander and Hologram. But that's the way they opened the show. Again, I'm doing a review of the AEW Revolution. I usually don't do it this way because I usually do it on my podcast, my actual podcast that I do on Sunday with the whole layout and all that. But because it fell on a Sunday and I didn't feel like I wanted to do it for next week, by then no one cares of what happened at AEW Revolution and it will lose its luster. So again, the 0 hour started with the Commander and Hologram versus Big Shotty, Lee Johnson, Blake Christian. Commander and Hologram won that. Then we had a decent match, which it was the Daniel Garcia along with Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, and Roderick Strong from the Undisputed Kingdom in an 8-man tag. And this was kind of interesting because, they put this match and they had Danny Garcia. Of course, he's the TBS champion. And you guys know that him and Adam Cole went at it for the, for the TBS, I tell you, the TNT title last week. But of course, the King, not the Kingdom, but the Infantry came in and beat up Adam Cole and Daniel Garcia. So this was an 8-man tag. It was Undisputed Kingdom and Daniel Garcia against Shea Taylor Promotions, the Ring of Honor Pure Champion Lee Moriarty, and the Infantry, Carly Bravo and Sean Dean. So this match was decent. It was a decent match. And I think this was exactly where they put it on the pay-per-view on the 0 hour because that's what it belonged at. You was not going to put this in the middle of a pay-per-view because you see how the pay-per-view was. The pay-per-view was banging from top to bottom. So this was a perfect match that you have it at in the 0 hours. But the ending of the match, you saw that Danny Garcia got the pin for him and the Undisputed Kingdom. And the way he did it very, very arrogant-wise, getting Adam Cole pissed off. What's up, Havoc? My day is going fine, man. Thank you very much. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for being here. So that whole Daniel Garcia and Adam Cole not feud rivalry is going to continue after this because afterwards you saw that I think I saw it in AEW Instagram where they talked about Daniel Garcia and Adam Cole had a face-off, and Adam Cole told Daniel Garcia, I'm going after that belt, so be aware that I'm going after the belt. So that whole Adam Cole and Daniel Garcia, it's not over. So we're probably going to end up seeing these guys go at it for the belt at Dynasty coming up in April, I believe it's April 6th, if I'm correct. So that was cool. Now the rest of the 0 hour was stupid. And I'm going to keep it real. I'm not going to lie to you. I am a fan of AEW. I like their stuff. Even though some of the stuff they do sometimes pisses me off. But this was kind of stupid. So you went and brought Gravity, who I haven't seen him wrestle. He is the brother of Bandito. Haven't seen him wrestle. I think he's probably wrestling in Ring of Honor. I don't see him. Why was he getting a title shot against Chris Jericho for the Ring of Honor World Title? That's the part I didn't get. And then to make it more worse was, and I felt this was the waste of time, and pretty much you're just setting up another match with Bandito. Now Chris Jericho and Bandito has had already 2 wrestling matches. And both of those wrestling matches, one was, I believe it was for the world title at that time when Jericho had the belt the first time. They just had another one not long ago. It was for the title in Collision and whatnot. And that was for the title. And he lost to Jericho. It looks like they're setting up for a third match because of what we saw with Jericho hitting Gravity with the bat. And then the rest of the Learning Tree jumping on him on Bravo. And then they took his mask off. Pretty see much how Bravo has a beard. You know what I'm saying? Not Bravo, I'm sorry. Gravity has a beard. You know what I'm saying? Gravity has a beard because I saw it again this morning when it ripped off the mask and whatnot. But what's the purpose of this? If you're going to have another third encounter with Jericho and Bandito, this wasn't the spot to do it. You just wanted to have Jericho in LA and have his Ring of Honor World Title mean something in the pay-per-view. And to me, it was kind of stupid. It kind of like, I was like, this was a waste of time. And then to bring the family in the ring. So I was like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? So that was stupid. So the trios battle between Big Boom, AJ, Mark Briscoe, Freshly Squeezed Orange Cassidy against Johnny TV and the MXM collection was a total fucking buffoon show. That's what it was. Again, AJ Boom supposedly, or Big Boom AJ, whatever his fucking name is, supposedly he said that he signed with AEW. I don't know what. I don't know what he'd be doing, but they're becoming annoying now. Him and his little chubby sons, they're annoying. Why are they there? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I get what that AEW is trying to do. They're trying to do this whole, have these celebrities be part of wrestling. And if you listen to the commentary from Big Taz, or Taz, he was just like, he got annoyed at one point when 2 other supposedly celebrities got in the ring and pretty much grabbed, I believe, Mansoor and body slam him or whatever. So and you could hit Taz and say, oh, they're wrestlers too? I mean, I guess you don't have to really do anything to become a wrestler, which is true because AEW is doing the same thing that WWE does. And it's bringing in celebrities to be wrestlers, and all they do, a lot of people are going to say, oh, this is, you're trying to catch the casual fans, whatever. Yeah, really? You trying to get the casual fan when the girl, after the Tony Storm fight, they asked her, the girl said, oh, now I know they're predetermined who was the winner of the match. Are you really serious? Did you say that on camera on a pay-per-view? It was stupid. To me, it was just dumb to them to even ask for that. So then we go to the main show, which was MJF versus Hangman Page. This match was what we all expected. It was hard-hitting. It was everything you named it. They slugged it out. Page got the upper hand at one point. Page knocked out MJF and stuff on him. Hangman, locked on a sleeper. I mean, at one point, we even saw MJF go and pretty much, he did like a tombstone on Page outside on the chair. So this went back and forth. Page connected with a moonsault off the rope, off the post, crashing into MJF. And the chants were, fans were chanting, AEW, whatever the case. But anyway, the point is, Hangman beat MJF. I'm not going to go through every match and what happened in the match. All I can tell you is that, MJF tried to do everything to beat Hangman. He even went at one point, threw him against the steps. You could see the mark on his back on the steps. He tombstoned him on the chair, and that still didn't get the job done. MJF loses to Hangman Page. Now, my question is, what is next for MJF? I mean, it took Hangman Page to beat MJF almost 5 years. Because the last time they wrestled, it was for that Diamond Ring back in 2019. And you saw it took all this long. These guys became world champions at one point, and now they got to this point, and the wrestling match lived to the hype. But I mean, now my question is, what's next for MJF? Who he's gonna go after, and whatnot, and who he's gonna get on, start his bullshit with. So that was the way my that match was pretty good. That was a good way to start. Then we had Mercedes Moné versus Momo Watanabe. Now, a lot of people may not know who the hell is Momo Watanabe, but Momo Watanabe is one of the hard hitters from Stardom. This girl is no joke. He's one of the top 3 wrestlers in Stardom and whatnot, and she gave Mercedes Moné the most hardest wrestling match that she ever had in AEW. Now, Momo and Mercedes did have a wrestling match back in August in Capital Punishment, and it was a couple of days after Mercedes had that horrible match with Britt Baker. Everybody was wondering that they thought it was Mercedes Moné's fault because Britt Baker had a bad match, but in reality it was Britt, because the next couple of nights later Mercedes wrestled Momo Watanabe. They had a great match, and last night they did it again. And this one, Mercedes Moné took a beating on the head on Momo Watanabe. And at one point, I really wanted to see Momo beat Mercedes, because I think Mercedes is due to lose this belt. She needs to go after the AEW World Title. But I think what's going on is they're pushing Mercedes as an ambassador for AEW. She got all these belts. I think she should move up and wrestle for the world title against Toni Storm. That would be a classic. But we'll see what happens. But this match, Momo Watanabe gave Mercedes Moné, I'm talking about a beatdown. And this was the most hardest wrestling match I seen Mercedes Moné have since she left WWE. I mean, Momo kicked her right in the face toward the end. And I mean, she's kicked her right in the chin. And I thought she broke her teeth as hard as she hit her. So that match was pretty decent. And that was, you had 2 matches. And at that time, I felt Momo and Mercedes already was stealing the show with their hard-hitting Japanese style of wrestling. So then we had the #1 contender match between Swerve Strickland and Ricochet. This match had me thinking of maybe Prince Nana was going to turn on Swerve, because there was a lot of things that happened in that match that looked like Nana was going to walk away from Swerve Strickland. At that one point, for some unknown reason, Swerve pushed Prince Nana. Prince Nana leaves, comes back, goes after the robe that he'd been trying to get back. Ricochet and and Swerve go back and forth. At one point, Swerve even said that his eardrum was popped or got injured because of his match with Ricochet. But this match was pretty good, and again, there was so much drama in it that it felt like Prince Nana was going to turn on Swerve. Thankfully, that didn't happen, and Swerve beat Ricochet to become the #1 contender for the AEW World Title, which now adds to Destiny, which it was the same pay-per-view last year that Swerve won the World Title. But I don't think he's going to win the World Title this time. There's something going to happen in that situation, but now what's next for Ricochet? I still think Ricochet is going to still join the Hurt Business, but I think the Hurt Business is getting so popular that may not happen. I think this guy's going to end up being, a fan favorite sooner or later. So then we had Kazuchika Okada versus Brody King. This was a hard-hitting match. I loved the whole thing, the whole match, the back and forth and whatnot. 2 big guys going at it. And Brody King, I'm a big fan of Brody King. And I felt that, he needs to get win some type of belt. Brody King ran against Kazuchika Okada. I don't see nobody beating him in there. I thought Omega will go after his belt, but now Omega has the international title. So maybe Eddie Kingston comes back. Eddie Kingston is due to come back. It's been a year already that he's been out, almost a year. And I think Kingston will come back and beat Okada for the continental title. But right now, I don't see anybody beating Okada. Okada is on a level of his own. Okada was the man in Japan. He's the man right now in AEW. And they got him with the belt, but he should be going after Moxley for that belt. But we'll see what happens on that one. Let me see what else is here. The Hurt Syndicate ends up beating the Outrunners. We knew that was going to happen. It was a decent match, but again, the Hurt Syndicate has become so popular, so damn popular in AEW that when they come out, you hear the fan screaming, "We heard people! We heard people!" You hear the chants. I mean, Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin as a tag team champs are like, and then with MVP, yo, that's fire. I'm talking about that's a tag team right there. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people may not like it and whatnot, but it is the truth. I mean, when you see the tag team division right now in AEW, who looks better than them? Right now, nobody. The Outrunners just got beaten. You know what I'm saying? They kept showing Andretti and oh my God, what's the other guy? Leo Rush. Like they're gonna be the next challengers. They cannot beat Shelton Benjamin and Bobby Lashley. These guys are like machines. You know what I'm saying? They're all machines. The only team that I could think of that might give them a hard time is the Murder Machine, which is Brian Cage and Lance Archer. But you see that they lost to the Outrunners. They gave the title shot to the Outrunners for no untold reason, but they may be the next challenger to the Hurt Syndicate. The timeless, the Hollywood ending match, that was, when I tell you that was hell, it was hell. That match was crazy. The blood shed by both of these women and whatnot, it was everything that I expected between these two ladies. I mean, they did have 3 big fights in the last year, and they have delivered. And this third one, I don't know what Toni Storm said about she misses her. Was that Mariah May's last match in AEW? Did her contract ended? We don't know, but this was crazy. This woman, I mean, they hit each other with tables. Toni Storm got power drived in the fucking steps. You had glass, thumbtacks. I think they were thumbtacks. I'm not even sure. They were glass. There were all kinds of stuff. I mean, and this match was what everybody expected. It was that type of match, and it was worth it. It was worth it. I mean, that match it lived up to the hype, and now my question is, what's next for Toni Storm? Who she's going to put her title on the line this time? And Mariah May, what is she going to do next? Is she going to come back? Is she going back to Stardom? We don't know. We don't know what's going on. The International Championship between Konosuke Takeshita and Kenny Omega, another fireman. I mean, Omega has had 2 crazy-ass matches this year. One with Gabe Kidd at Wrestle Dynasty that he put his body on the line. And Konosuke Takeshita, I mean, he put a hurting on Kenny Omega last night. So this was a crazy match, back and forth. I mean, the only thing, I'm glad that Omega won the belt and whatnot. And I think what's going to happen, Konosuke Takeshita now is going to focus more on Japan because he is the never openweight champion in Japan. So I don't know what's going to happen with Konosuke Takeshita. But Omega winning the belt, that makes it much interesting because now who's going to go with him? Are we going to have a match between Okada and Omega for All In coming up? Because I think that's what everybody wants to see. You know what I'm saying? I think it's going to happen down the line. But I don't know who's going to be the next challenger for Kenny Omega. But we got to see. But this match lived up to the hype. And it was bound to happen that Omega was going to win because Takeshita beat him twice in 1 week. So I think it was 2 years ago. So, it was all worth it. Then we had the, I believe it was the craziest steel cage match I ever seen. This had everything. They had screwdriver. You had a bat with bar wires. We had a damn Spanish fly from the top of the cage that was done by Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher. And he really didn't execute it like he wanted to because I guess he was already hurting. But just to attempt to hit a Spanish fly from the top of the cage was amazing enough. But these guys went at it, and I loved how it ended with Kyle Fletcher saying, "I hate you, I hate your guts," even though he did a curse word, but he said, "I hate your guts," and Ospreay went and hit him with a swing blade right in his face and pinned him. Now, Fletcher did a video online on Instagram and says he wants to be the man to carry the ball, which means he wants to be the world champion. So now it's going to be interesting because Ospreay gets into the mix of this whole, world championship thing now. Because now, Christian Cage is probably out of it now. He's no longer, a contender for that belt. Now it's going to be interesting because then at the end of that interview that he was doing, Will Ospreay said they talk about AEW is the place where the greatest wrestler wrestle. He said, well, AEW is where Billy is at, which means he's the Billy Goat, which means he's the GOAT. So it'll be interesting to see Ospreay now getting involved in the world title picture. It will be excellent. But this match with him and Ospreay was, we call a banger. I mean, you name everything was involved. And so I want to see what's going to happen now with Kyle Fletcher, where he goes at. But Kyle Fletcher, anybody in AEW that has been, they talk about AEW doesn't, produce stars. Well, Kyle Fletcher is one of those big stars that has been pushed to the moon and whatnot, and it's going to continue. He's very young. He's only 24, 25. And him and the other guy, I forgot his name, but he used to be part of RC Open, Mark Davis. So these guys are still young. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's not over and whatnot. So we'll see what happens when the next couple of weeks. It's not with Dynasty coming around the corner. We'll see what happens with that. Then we had, of course, the main event. Jon Moxley versus Radio R Superstar. The only thing I had a problem with this match was it started off very slow and was dragging. After all these matches that I just mentioned, now you have Moxley and Cope had to go and top those matches and top all those performers who did what they did last night. And I kept getting like a little annoying because they would be slow, they were dragging things. But it got a little interesting. It got more interesting because now, to the end of the match, you saw Wheeler Yuta come in. And I knew Wheeler Yuta was going to go. He was not going to betray Moxley at that. So I knew he was going to hit the cycle need on, Colt. Then you had Switchblade comes in, and he wanted to hit Moxley with the briefcase, but he ends up hitting Colt. But him and Wheeler Yuta end up fighting in the back. What's going to happen from that is now, Jay White's going to end up fighting with Colt for whatever reason because of the briefcase hit. That's going to be interesting to see. But the thing that I totally forgot during this match was that Christian Cage still had that contract where he could cash in anytime he wants and whatnot. So once I saw Christian come in, and I think he pulled Colt, and you saw the hood. I don't know who the hell is that. And all of a sudden, I see it was Christian. He signed a contract, and now it was a three-way. But luckily, he hit two. I think he hit two spears on. No, he hit one spear on Colt. He tried to pin him. He couldn't pin him. Then he did the switch, kill switch on Colt, and then he tried to pin him, and Moxley went and put him on a choke. Now, Christian's a smart dude because while he's getting choked, he's trying to put his hand on Colt, who's out, and Moxley went and tightened up that choke and made him tap, and ends up retaining the belt and whatnot. And then toward the end, we saw that he was going toward the back through the crowd, and out of nowhere, President Nana approaches Mox, and Mr. Swerve Strickland jumps from the top of the side and stomps his ass whatever, and pretty much saying, I'm the number one contender for your title. Now, what's going to happen with this now? I don't know. I mean, most likely the Dynasty is going to, and we're going to see that match. So they got from now all the way to April 6th to, fueled up that storyline. We'll see what happens. I don't think Ricochet is out of the picture with Strickland and whatnot. The Death Riders, I mean, it's too many guys, and Swerve Strickland is gonna have to get like a whole, gang to, fight off the Death Riders, because the Death Riders are gonna end up coming back with, Maria Shafir is gonna come back, Marina Shafir is gonna come back, you know that. Then we're gonna have Claudio is gonna come back, and Pac is gonna come back. So all these guys are gonna end up coming back. So by the time Dynasty is gonna come out, Swerve is gonna be outnumbered, and he's probably gonna need help, and we'll see what happens. It's gonna be very interesting to see that match between Swerve Strickland and Jon Moxley. This is gonna be a classic. Hopefully it goes further than just one match. So, but overall, the pay-per-view was pretty good and whatnot. I'm seeing online how people are talking about it was predictable and whatnot. And of course, the people that say it's predictable are people who hate AEW, because they couldn't say that the pay-per-view was garbage, because it wasn't garbage. To me, from 1 to 10, the pay-per-view was 8.5. All the matches was good, with the exception of one match that kind of slowed the pace down a little bit, because it was like boom, boom, boom throughout the whole night. It was the last and main event. It kind of slowed down, kind of have everybody take their breath, whatever. And at the end of the day, we saw what we saw. So, to me, it was a good, it was a good pay-per-view. You know what I'm saying? But, to me, I think as far as them trying to bring in celebrity, I think they did that because they went to LA, bringing in celebrities, coming in the ring and power-bombing wrestlers, which was kind of stupid to me. But AEW needs to improve on that. But this whole pay-per-view, the way they set it up, the way it was pretty good. Like I said, not everybody's going to like AEW. A lot of people criticize AEW. To me, I'm not saying AEW is perfect, because they still got to do a lot of work, and I'm glad they're letting people go that they don't need, but they need to continue the way they doing, continue doing, having storylines and doing what they do best. So at this point, to me, I like the damn pay-per-view, so I can't complain about it, But I did this today because I figure, once I usually come on Tuesday and talk about, whatever's happening in wrestling, whatever, but I felt like I had to come today. Number one, because AEW was last night and today's Monday. I wasn't gonna wait till Saturday or Sunday to do it on my podcast that I usually do. So I figured, let me just do it now, get that out of the way and whatnot. Let me know what you think about the AEW Revolution pay-per-view. I mean, to me, I think, again, it was a great pay-per-view from top to bottom. Now, I've seen people saying that it was one of the best pay-per-view ever, probably perhaps the greatest. No, stop. I've seen better pay-per-views than this. And I still think, All Out last year was crazy. That was a crazy pay-per-view with all the insanity, all the bloodthirsty thing that was going on and whatnot. But, at the end of the day, it was a good pay-per-view. And again, a lot of people are not going to agree with the way AEW does things. But again, to me, I enjoyed it, and it is what it is. Also, I wanted to put this on Twitter, let people see it so they can come on, but Twitter's not working. There's an outage, so that's not going to work. So anyway, guys, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram, and follow me on Facebook and whatnot. Of course, subscribe to the channel. We just did this past Saturday, the whole Jay Cargill and Shayna Baszler drama that happened, plus the Gabe Kidd situation, New Japan status, and the Hall of Fame for Lex Luger, who's now finally Lex Luger is going to the Hall of Fame, which he deserves it. Also, guys, follow me on, like I said, on X, Facebook, Instagram. Also, check out my podcast. My podcast store, actually. My podcast store, tcwr.veryimpressive.com. That's tcwr.veryimpressive.com. Get your shirts, your hats, the sweaters, all that stuff. Also, I'm on TikTok, the Chokeslam Wrestling. I got clips there, all that stuff. So Guys, thank you for following me. And again, those who are coming in, if you did not get to see this live stream, once it's over, you can go check it out and whatnot. And again, thank you for all your support. And I'll see you guys very soon. I'll see you this weekend or during the week if anything pops up. Thank you very much and have a good day.